Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Does Ridge run back to Brooke after Taylor makes a big mistake? According to teasers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Taylor Hayes is pleased with the path she and Ridge Forrester are on. Ridge is showing Taylor a lot of love and making her feel like the center of his universe now that he has turned against Brooke Logan. Taylor is ready to get closer as soon as possible because Ridge even encouraged him to move into the Forrester estate. However, the rekindled romance between Taylor and Ridge quickly shows the first indications of difficulty. Taylor is being portrayed by B&B as a saint and Ridge's devoted moral compass. Ridge has adopted Taylor as a loyal backup love interest because he feels deceived by Brooke and her CEO choice. The program might be preparing Taylor for a big fall because Ridge is acting as though he is impervious to wrongdoing. Taylor will inevitably make a significant error at some time, possibly one that causes Ridge to turn back to Brooke. It's too soon to state with certainty what that error could be. B&B can undoubtedly think of a story aspect that would work, such as a significant secret that Taylor conceals or a betrayal that is worse than the one Brooke has done. In the appropriate situation, Taylor might even cheat with someone else. A future divorce between Taylor and Ridge could be the outcome, depending on how the show decides to handle the remaining plot points. Ridge and Taylor's reconciliation will eventually fail, thus it's possible that Taylor may make a mistake that will be too painful for Ridge to forget. That might be sufficient to return Ridge to Brooke's embrace and for Taylor to experience heartbreak once more. Reuniting with Ridge in the first place was undoubtedly Taylor's biggest mistake. Taylor should be aware that Ridge would always eventually turn back toward Brooke, so she shouldn't expose herself to further destruction. Stay back for updates on any upcoming split news, as our predictions suggest that Taylor may ultimately regret this Ridge reunion. According to previews for The Bold and the Beautiful, Ridge's romantic life will take some unexpected turns in the upcoming months. Brooke's courageous action to reveal Steffi's heartbreak plan and preserve Hope and Carter's love. Updates and spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful hint that Hope Logan will probably continue to be wary of Steffi Forrester's return to Forrester Creations. Hope is right to be concerned because Steffi is covertly working on a plan that could undermine Carter Walton's authority and endanger their relationship. According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Steffi Forrester plans to use Daphne Rose to destroy Hope and Carter Walton. Although Daphne Rose's attempts to woo Carter could cause quite a romantic commotion, there's no guarantee that Steffi's plan would be successful. As Daphne starts to aggressively pursue Carter, Brooke Logan may grow suspicious and will always be on the lookout for Hope. Brooke might become a cunning eavesdropper and discover Daphne's covert partnership with Steffi. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Brooke's audacious step to reveal Steffi's heartbreak plan and preserve Hope and Carter's love. Given that Ridge Forrester is aware of the scheme and finds it hilarious, Brooke may become enraged for a number of reasons if that information is revealed. When Hope's feelings are on the line, Brooke will not be happy to hear about Steffi's deceitful methods. Spoilers for B&B, can Brooke Logan stop it? Even though Brooke isn't thrilled about her daughter seeing another man, will she be the one to expose Steffi's heartbreaking plan and preserve Hope's relationship with Carter? Although it would be perfect if Carter could stay true to Hope in the absence of outside influences, he is just human and subject to temptation. It's difficult enough to navigate love on B&B, and Carter and Hope most definitely don't need any more obstacles. Daphne will test the bond between Hope and Carter in the coming weeks, but maybe Brooke will notice and intervene before things get out of hand. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Steffi Forrester's overconfidence could be her demise. In any case, Steffi might be overconfident in the success of her strategy, and that confidence could be the demise. We'll keep you updated on how Steffi's plan might fall apart because in the world of soap operas, that type of assurance frequently results in disappointment. Do you believe Brooke will figure out Daphne's plan and, if so, will she be able to stop this enticing scheme before it's too late? According to upcoming teasers, Steffi and Daphne's alliance may face some difficulties, so keep an eye out for any impending conflict. Daphne might even target John Finnegan, Steffi's spouse. In the complex web of love and devotion inside the Forrester family, Taylor Hayes had always been a pillar of grace and strength. She had experienced loss, betrayal, and grief, but she always recovered gracefully. However, rumors of a secret were now starting to circulate, clouding her flawless reputation. The always calm and loving mother, Taylor, seemed to be concealing something or someone. When Steffi Forrester observed her mother's preoccupied manner during their frequent coffee dates, it was the first clue that something was off. Taylor, who was usually attentive and in the moment, appeared to be checking her phone more frequently, her eyes darting between excitement and fear. "How are you, Mom?" With a worried expression on her face, Steffi inquired. "You've been somewhat far away recently." Although it fell short of her eyes, Taylor's smile was comforting. "I'm all right, my love. Just taking care of patients and finishing off some personal tasks." Despite her want to believe her, Steffi couldn't get rid of the suspicion that there was more to the narrative. Particularly when it came to her kids, her mother had always been candid. Red flags were raised by this abrupt lack of character. When Ridge Forrester, Taylor's ex-husband and the man she had a lasting relationship with, observed a similar change in her conduct, the mystery grew. Ridge couldn't help but feel a little envious when he saw Taylor's face light up during a phone call that she abruptly interrupted as soon as he entered the room, even if their relationship had developed into a polite co-parenting dynamic. "Who was that?" Ridge asked nonchalantly, yet there was a hint of curiosity in his voice. With practiced indifference, Taylor tucked her phone into her purse and said, "Just a friend." Ridge's eyebrow went up. "A friend? Should I be concerned about the amount of time you've been spending with this friend?" A bit too brightly, Taylor laughed. "You no longer have the right to question me, Ridge. Do you recall? We have moved past that." Ridge, however, was unable to let it go. Not because he wanted to resume their romance, but because he still had a strong affection for her. The thought that Taylor might have found someone else to date tormented him. She must have had something important to hide from him. Brooke Logan, Taylor's lifelong nemesis and Ridge's other great love, became entangled in the drama as whispers started to circulate. Brooke, who loved solving mysteries, was unable to resist this mystery's charms. Did Taylor have a lover in hiding? Who was it, if so? When Brooke overheard Taylor on the phone while visiting Forrester Creations, her suspicions were validated. Taylor spoke in quiet tones, her normally cool, collected voice carrying an unusual eagerness. With her back to Brooke, Taylor exclaimed, "I am so excited to see you. We can't wait for tonight." Brooke's thoughts were racing as she froze. Taylor was in a relationship, and it wasn't a casual one. This was a severe matter. Initially, Brooke wanted to face Taylor personally, but she changed her mind. Rather, she decided to get additional facts before acting. When Thomas Forrester, the son of Taylor and Ridge, mentioned observing a shift in his mother's mood, the next piece of the picture came together. In sharp contrast to the residual melancholy that had characterized her behavior following her previous separation with Ridge, she appeared happier, lighter, and even radiant. In an interview with Steffi, Thomas said, "She deserves to be happy. However, I keep getting the impression that she is hiding something from us." Steffi gave a nod. "I've also observed it. She seems to have a whole other life that we are unaware of." When Taylor started inventing excuses to skip family get-togethers, which she had previously valued, their worries grew. Her kids weren't persuaded when she explained that her absence was because to work obligations. They understood that Taylor would go to great lengths to support her family. Ridge was torn between respecting Taylor's privacy and being curious as the rumors spread. A part of him recognized that she had every right to live her life as she saw fit, but another part of him wanted to approach her and demand answers. Nevertheless, considering their shared past, he couldn't help but feel a twinge of hurt that she hadn't told him. The pivotal moment occurred over a family meal with the Forresters, when Taylor's absence was felt deeply. She used an evasive explanation of a last-minute job commitment when asked why she wasn't present. However, as the topic of conversation changed, a picture of Taylor eating at a fancy restaurant with an unidentified man appeared online. She was clearly smiling and leaning in close to her buddy in the hazy photo. The Forrester family was rocked by the discovery. Thomas and Steffi were taken aback when their mother's concealment began to make sense. Ridge was torn between betrayal, confusion, and a sudden flash of jealousy. What about Brooke? she felt both validated and curious, wanting to find out who Taylor's hidden lover was. Taylor first tried to sidestep the situation when her kids confronted her. But when she saw they were genuinely worried, she opened up. She met her mystery man at a medical conference. He was a fellow physician. They had been discreetly dating for a few months after finding common ground in their love of helping people. With a hint of shame in her voice, Taylor clarified, "I wasn't trying to keep it a secret. For once, I wanted something for myself. Something unrelated to this family and our convoluted past." Steffi and Thomas listened silently, their astonishment gradually giving way to comprehension. To them, to Ridge, to the Forrester legacy, their mother had sacrificed so much of herself. Even if it meant avoiding the limelight, she deserved to find happiness. However, the tale did not stop there. When it was discovered that Taylor's new love interest had a previous relationship with the Forrester family, it increased curiosity even further. This discovery posed a potential to rekindle long-standing hostilities and exacerbate the already precarious truce. Even while he struggled with his own unresolved sentiments, Ridge found it difficult to accept that Taylor had moved on. Ever the strategist, Brooke saw a chance to take advantage of this new development by quietly spreading the seeds of uncertainty and discord. After everything was said and done, Taylor's covert romance served as a spur for transformation in the Forrester household. It made them face their own priorities and fears, emphasizing the value of letting go and welcoming fresh starts. For Taylor, it was an opportunity to take back her identity and find value beyond the parts she had performed for so long. What about the rest of you? It served as a reminder that although secrets and betrayals can try even the strongest of relationships, love always manages to persevere. One should never undervalue Daphne Rose. Everywhere she went, she was able to capture attention with her captivating appeal and razor-sharp humor. She swiftly assimilated into the Forresters' lives after arriving in Los Angeles under suspicious circumstances. Daphne's rise into their world appeared to be virtually smooth, but she had more in mind than just social standing. She wanted Ridge Forrester. Complicated relationships were nothing new to Ridge, the charismatic enigma. Taylor Hayes and Brooke Logan had been in a love triangle with him for years, each trying to win his heart in a different way. However, Ridge started to doubt the connections that had shaped so much of his life as he was pulled to Daphne's newfound vigor and fearless manner. In contrast, Daphne was playing her cards flawlessly. She conveyed her interest in Ridge in a subtle but clear way by radiating confidence and playfulness. Her chats challenged him in ways he hadn't felt in years, her touch was electric, and her laughter echoed in his ears. Daphne offered Ridge a welcome diversion from the cycle of heartache and reconciliation with Brooke and Taylor. However, Daphne's ascent to prominence in Ridge's life did not captivate everyone. Longtime adversaries and sporadic allies Brooke and Taylor had both observed Ridge's change in attitude. He was aloof, preoccupied, and seemed mesmerized by this new arrival. Their concerns quickly became verified. Daphne was more than just Ridge's buddy, and her presence posed a threat to the delicate equilibrium that had maintained the Forrester family's precarious peace. Brooke was devastated and furious at the thought of Ridge falling for someone new. She had endured innumerable betrayals and reconciliations throughout the decades she had fought for his love. It was nearly intolerable to consider losing him to someone like Daphne, who had no background or interest in their family's heritage. In contrast, Taylor's answer was more measured. She acknowledged the chance for them to confront a more significant problem, Ridge's incapacity to truly commit to either of them, even though she shared Brooke's worries. Perhaps Ridge's life would finally become clear if Daphne's presence compelled him to make a decision. Brooke and Taylor reluctantly found themselves in a strange partnership. Their mutual objective was straightforward: reveal Daphne's intentions and make Ridge aware of the breadth of their relationship and history. However, collaborating was not at all simple. Their cooperation was characterized by squabbling and mistrust, and decades of hostility couldn't be eliminated overnight. One evening, when she and Taylor were planning in Brooke's living room, Brooke remarked, "It's unbelievable that I'm saying this, but if we want to stop her, we really need to cooperate." Taylor's eyebrow went up. "You portray her as a villain of some sort. Perhaps Ridge is simply searching for something fresh." Brooke glared at her. "You dare not stand up for her." You've witnessed her behavior. She is cunning, and she is exploiting Ridge to advance in her career. Taylor let out a sigh. Brooke, I'm not standing up for her. All I'm suggesting is that we should take our time. We'll only shove Ridge deeper into her arms if we press too hard. Whatever their plan was, it entailed learning more about Daphne's past and bringing it up to her. With the assistance of their friends and supporters in the Forrester organization, they started researching her past. They quickly discovered some concerning information, including financial transactions that appeared too coincidence, relationships that terminated inexplicably, and a pattern of behavior that implied Daphne was constantly thinking about herself. Ridge was becoming more intimate with Daphne as they worked to put together her background. She was different from Taylor or Brooke in the way she made him feel valued and seen. They had nothing to worry about, no past to burden them, just the excitement of something fresh and novel with Daphne. However, Ridge was unable to ignore the storm that was building all around him. The connection between Brooke and Taylor had not gone unnoticed, and it was becoming more and more clear that they were working to discredit Daphne. 3 women were competing for Ridge's attention, each in their own unique manner. Even though it was a familiar position, it felt more difficult than before. Tensions reached a boiling point at a Forrester Creations event, which marked the turning point. Daphne was by Ridge's side, laughing and conversing with guests while wearing a gorgeous gown that seemed to capture the attention of the room. From a distance, Brooke and Taylor observed, their faces displaying a mixture of resolve and frustration. Brooke whispered to Taylor, "We must do it now. She will have him on her finger if we wait any longer." Taylor paused. "Are you certain that now is the appropriate moment? We might exacerbate the situation." However, Brooke's heels were clicking on the marble floor as she approached Ridge and Daphne. Reluctantly, Taylor followed, preparing herself for the impending encounter. "Ridge," Brooke remarked in a firm, piercing voice. "We must speak. Right now." Ridge appeared surprised. "Can't this wait, Brooke? We're in the midst of something." Taylor interrupted, her tone firmer but more measured, "No, it can't wait. This is significant." Daphne moved forward, feeling the change in the air. "I would appreciate it if you would just say what needs to be said if this is about me. I will not be leaving." Brooke's gaze grew strained. "Oh, okay, we will say that. Daphne, we are fully aware of what you are doing. Additionally, you cannot control Ridge or any other member of this family." Daphne's smile remained unwavering. "Manipulate? Brooke, that's a strong word. I believe Ridge is able to make his own choices." As the 4 of them stood facing each other, the weight of their common past and unresolved feelings looming large over them, the tension in the room was evident. Stuck in the midst, Ridge's patience was becoming thin. Finally, his voice broke through the confusion and he yelled, "Enough. This never-ending fighting is getting to me. You're both better than this, Taylor and Brooke. You don't have to defend yourself, Daphne. I am aware of your identity." As Ridge's comments sank in, the room became silent. It was a painful pill for Brooke and Taylor to take. Ridge had already made up his mind, despite their best efforts to shield him from what they perceived to be Daphne's influence. The consequences of the altercation rippled across their lives in the days that followed. Although brief, Brooke and Taylor's collaboration had compelled them to face their own emotions and priorities. Even though they might never be best friends, they decided to treat their relationship with greater respect and understanding after realizing that their rivalry had caused more harm than good. Although Daphne and Ridge's bond grew stronger, it was obvious that they would face difficulties along the way. Ridge was still burdened by his history, and Daphne's intentions were still unclear despite being somewhat sincere. Ultimately, the circumstances surrounding Daphne's romance with Ridge acted as a spur for personal development and transformation for all parties. Outside of their relationships with Ridge, Brooke and Taylor discovered a new sense of self-worth, while Ridge started to face the patterns that had characterized his romantic life for so long. What about Daphne? She demonstrated that she was more than a fleeting diversion. She had irrevocably changed the Forrester family, making them rethink their relationships and values in unexpected ways, regardless of how good her intentions were. Taylor Hayes has always been a strong, independent woman. She wore her wounds as badges of distinction, shaped by a lifetime of professional achievements, emotional struggles, and complex romantic relationships. However, even the most resilient hearts can only withstand so much, and Taylor's recent heartbreak over Ridge Forrester was a new wound that would not go away. Taylor was in an emotional limbo as a result of Ridge's waning allegiance and her inability to decide between her and Brooke Logan. She had made an effort to be patient, to put herself first, but the allure of Ridge, its history, its passion, its promises, was too strong for her to resist. She couldn't help but question whether she was putting herself in danger of experiencing another heartbreak as she stood on the brink of a new chapter in her life. Taylor had been attempting to move on for weeks, persuading herself that she could feel complete without Ridge or anybody else. In an attempt to distract herself, she put herself into her work, her friendships, and her kids. In reality, though, Taylor was worn out from taking the lead, from seeming indifferent, and from risking everything only to have her heart again broken. Taylor found herself going over her previous relationships, not just with Ridge, but also with the other men who had come and gone in her life, during one of these reflective times. Though each love story had been different, they had ended in a way that was uncanny. Taylor left to pick up the pieces after promises were broken and trust was lost. But one name stuck out above the others: Nick Morone. Taylor had gone through a difficult period in her life, and Nick had been a source of stability. Although their relationship wasn't flawless, it was sincere and based on respect for one another. Taylor wondered if she had sacrificed something worthwhile in her pursuit of perfection as she thought back on her time with Nick. Maybe she had always been attracted to the impossible, the theatrical, and the unachievable. A knock on the door cut through her thoughts. Since Ridge's most recent betrayal, Taylor had been closely monitored by Steffi, her daughter and confidant. Although Steffi loved her father and had a complex connection with him, she was unable to overlook the suffering he had given her mother.